Honey, that's fine. I didn't know what you were doing. I'm just checking to see if it's working.
keep my, gotta see if you will be dressed up. I see you.
Joy? Joy? Lot of static.
Wonderful.
Wonderful, Michael. Thank you so much for your musical selections today. That is our wonderful volunteer, Mr. Michael B. Friedman, right there. We're going to turn it over to Nancy for some quick housekeeping rules, and we will get started with our program. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's officially afternoon. I hope you all enjoyed that musical concert as much as I did. Thank you, Michael. So we've got a couple of housekeeping things to go over just as we get started. The most important thing is to please put your phone on mute. What you'll see is if you look at your screen and you go down to the lower left-hand side, there's a little microphone. So you just want to click that and then it'll put a slash mark through it, and that's how you know that you're on mute. If you're not on mute, I hate to tell you that we're in speaker view. So if we're not on mute, then we can automatically see who's talking. So you don't want to do that. You'll out yourself. Another thing, please, is to turn off cell phones. When you are speaking, please turn off your cell phones and any other alerts that you might have with your Outlook alerts or things like that, because this is being recorded. And then also, I want to draw your attention to the chat box. If you can see, it's on the right-hand side of your screen, or it's also on the bottom of your screen. You'll see a little voice bubble that says chat, and you can click on that, and then you can chat with all of us. You can ask questions. You can seek technical assistance. You can chat with everybody, or you can chat with just one particular person. It'll let you choose somebody from the list of participants. But do know that even your private chat, if the chat is saved, will be part of the record. So we all have to mind our P's and Q's with that too. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and I will turn it back over to Joy.
Wonderful, thank you. And now we will have our state president, and our state director begin our program for today. To you, Hank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone, and want to welcome everybody. Welcome.
I know they're on, but I can't get on.
Okay, it looks like someone is talking.
Okay.
All right. Let me just say good morning and welcome to the 2020 virtual AARP Andrus Awards ceremony. I'm Hank Greenberg, the State Director for AARP, and I want to thank you and welcome everyone to this non-traditional but wonderful celebration of our AARP Maryland volunteer team. Our annual celebration of service is a time to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of every AARP volunteer on this screen and throughout the state. We're very lucky to have hundreds of wonderful volunteers. The Andrus celebration is one of our favorite of the AARP events of the year. Of course, our events look quite different this year because we managed to come together as a team to continue our advocacy and our outreach efforts on behalf of all 50+ Marylanders. And while we'd love to see all of you in person, give you an old-fashioned handshake or a hug, we're content knowing that we have this moment together to reflect and honor all of your achievements on behalf of the 50+ here in Maryland and across the nation. I also want to take this moment to recognize the person who put this together and coordinated so much of this, Joy Hall, who didn't introduce herself, so I want to make sure everyone knows. Big a wave to Joy Hall. She's the one most responsible, although the entire team was very much involved in putting this hour together. And so as we reflect on this year, I want you to know that your work matters. And it matters in the lives of people that you serve now more than ever. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our volunteer leader, AARP Maryland State President, Jim Campbell.
Heck, I was really looking forward to today to recognize all the work of our volunteers across the state and also to actually put clothes on for the first time in 6 months. But this is exciting. I don't know if any of you remember, but those of you who were involved last year, we were in Ocean City. It was sunny, it was bright. Many of us were on the beach. So this year is a little different than last year. We're working from home, we're working from our dens, we're working from bedrooms or whatever. But we're still together, and that's the important thing. And we're really looking forward to the work that our volunteers have done the past year. And it should be a really interesting program today. As Hank said, the Andrus celebration is named after our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus. It's all about recognizing the amazing contribution of volunteers, all volunteers who contributed so much to our state and nation in these challenging times. Our volunteers are not only the face of AARP, but they're also the heart. That's what makes AARP tick and help us become one of the largest and most effective volunteer organizations in the nation. You know, we have 38 million members nationwide, and here in Maryland, we have 900,000, so it's a pretty effective organization. AARP is a vital source of information and referral for the 50-plus population on health, consumer safety issues, and we're one of the state's leading advocacy organizations representing interests of seniors from Annapolis, the state capital, to the nation's capital in Washington. What do we work on? We work on issues of advocating and educating family caregivers on how to care for a loved one. What do we work on? We're leading the fight for affordable health care for seniors, leading the fight for lowering health prescription drug costs, leading the fight in Maryland for better care for those in assisted living facilities and nursing homes. And let me just note that a report came out a few weeks ago that said 70% of the deaths in Maryland due to the virus were in nursing homes. So this is really a priority for us. Leading the fight of safe voting for the 50-plus population in Maryland, leading the fight to protect older citizens from fraud, consumer fraud, and we're leading the effort to make sure all our citizens in Maryland are counted and represented in the 2020 census. Our actions carry forth the vision of Ethel Andrus, Percy Andrus, who said, "This is a challenge, to live up to our better selves." You don't hear that too much these days, but we need to live up to our better selves, to believe well of our fellow men and perhaps, fellow men and women, and perhaps by doing so to help create the good we believe in, to experiment, to explore, to change, and to grow. And boy, have we explored and changed and grown the past year. We are very fortunate today to have a major big shot with us from AARP, the South Region Vice President, John Kane. We're a part of the South Region. John's a great leader. He is a big shot. So John, welcome to Maryland today. And John's coming from the second best state in the union, Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, John.
Well, thank you, Jim. You know, let me first of all also say thank you for the great musical rendition that I had the pleasure of listening to, just like all of you. And so, you know, it was great. Thank you. I think the volunteer's name, I think someone said it was Michael. Well, if I got the name wrong, I'm sorry, but if it's right, Michael, thank you very much. This is John, much appreciated. And so my remarks are simply this: good morning. And a big thank you to Hank Greenberg and the entire Maryland State Office staff. And I also want to extend a special thank you to our AARP Maryland State President, Jim Campbell. And to all of you, our volunteers, who are indeed the faces and voices of AARP throughout the state of Maryland and as part of the larger AARP enterprise. You know, your voice, your face, your thoughts, your strategies, your tactics, all of that helps AARP as an organization empower people to choose how they live as they age. Furthermore, I'd like to thank you all individually and collectively for volunteering and generously giving of your time and dedication to serving the 50-plus population and their families. Your generous contribution of time and your energy to advocate and communicate on behalf of our members and potential members throughout the state of Maryland has been incredible. Thank you for your continued willingness to share your expertise and your experience. I count each and every one of you as leaders. This year, in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, we have been tested and faced individually, and our family have faced challenges. All of us either know someone, heard of someone, read about someone who is affected by this virus. Additionally, the trying times of 2020 have brought out the best in many people. People like you who have shown compassion and empathy and offered a helping hand to others during these extraordinary times. There's civil unrest, there's issues when it comes to race relations, but I tell you, I wake up every day in the greatest country in the world. Your leadership, your care, and your good heart have shown through during these difficult times and these very trying times. I want to thank you for being a beacon of positivity and purpose in a time where many, many folks are uncertain. It is said that it is in the most difficult times that the truth of a person's soul is seen. Please know that I talk to Hank all the time. I talk to other staff all the time. I have conversations with Jim, and I have a clear view of the great work that you're doing as volunteers. Now, as I've said many times before, and I'll say it again here, it is not lost on me and other AARP leadership that you could be somewhere else. Right now, you could be somewhere else doing something else. But instead, you've chosen to be an integral part of the AARP team. Your volunteerism and service represent the words of one of my favorite people, Albert Einstein. He said, "Only a life lived for others is worth living." Finally, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for all that you do, all that you're going to do as we continue to serve those in the state of Maryland, but also how you reach outside of Maryland. Your work impacts the entire South region. You are members of a larger organization that includes Washington, D.C., Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Mississippi, and I could go on and on. And on top of that, you're part of a larger AARP enterprise that is led by volunteers, our board of directors. You know, I want to thank you for allowing me to participate in this meeting. And I want to thank you for allowing me to participate in AARP's annual celebration of service. Now back to your state president. Jim?
They were great remarks. Thank you so much for those comments. We really appreciate it. And since I have you on the line, I just wanted to say one quick thing. During this,
I thought you were going to ask me, I thought you were going to make this an ask me anything moment, but go ahead.
It is. But I just wanted to make a comment. This has been a difficult period for all of us, but the staff has risen to the occasion. The AC met a couple weeks ago. We're talking about other organizations who are struggling to find their identity. But I think we have worked through a lot of this, and we're working to incorporate volunteers and activities. I'm doing Zoom. I never even heard of Zoom 6 months ago. So it's just been a great time, and I really appreciate the work of the staff and adjusting great. So I just wanted to point that out since you're our connection to higher up. So thank you, and thank you for your comment.
All right, well, I'll make sure I pat Hank on the back. But I know Tracy and Joy and everybody else doing all the real work.
Oh, yes, exactly right. You got it 100%. Thank you so much. Enjoy Georgia. Okay, I think we're understanding now. We're going to a slideshow to show some of the work of our volunteers. So, Joy, ready?
Yes, Jim, we're actually going to take a quick moment. And Adrian, if you don't mind, we're going to show our message from our CEO before we go into our slideshow. Awesome. Thank you so much, Adrian. Let me share my screen for you all.
I'm Joanne Jenkins, AARP's Chief Executive Officer, and I want to thank you for being an AARP volunteer. Even in an environment where AARP's activities are all virtual, you and thousands of your volunteer colleagues give AARP a meaningful presence in communities across the country. Through you, AARP becomes not just as a familiar name, but a face and a voice. You are the heart and soul of our organization. Without you, there is simply no way that we could meet our ambitious goals for improving lives, standing up to injustice, transforming the marketplace, and empowering people to live better as they age. We are in a challenging time that has thrown our nation and the entire world for a loop. I know you would rather be out in your communities doing what you do so well. When the time is right, we'll get back there. In the meantime, we continue to need you and your experience, skills, passion, and unique understanding of your community. You are doing amazing work, finding creative ways to connect, engage, and serve, learning new tech skills and putting them into practice, participating in virtual lobbying and reaching out to elected officials, thanking essential workers, promoting AARP priorities on Facebook and Twitter, helping organize virtual events around livable communities and fraud, and so much more. Your actions are keeping us relevant today and will make us even stronger in the future. AARP realizes that you have a choice in how you want to spend your precious time and give back to your community. We're so thankful that you have chosen to make a difference by volunteering with AARP. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for all that you do. Thank you, and please stay safe and healthy.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you.
We will start that over so you all can see it one more time, Adrian. Thank you. Back to you, Jim. Make sure you're off mute.
In past years, the Andrus Awards have been solely focused on the great work of our volunteers in the community. However, because of this pandemic, our individuals have found new and different ways to be connected, resilient, and optimistic. We want to, and this video you just saw really highlighted some of the different things people are doing to adjust to these changing times, which are really changing. But I did want to say, this is a very important part of the program. You all got a box in the mail, I think. Most of you got a box. Now is the time you can actually officially open it if you haven't done so already. So your gift is there in a big box. Hopefully everybody got one, and please feel free to open it now. And while you're doing that, I'm actually going to go to our Associate State Director of Advocacy. Is she with? Yes, she's with us. The great Tammy Bresnahan. Tammy, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. I hope everybody's well and weathering this storm in one way or another. Thank you for joining me in my little office here in Severna Park, Maryland. While we were honoring just one advocacy volunteer today because of her outstanding work, I just want to say that we would not be successful in Annapolis without our entire advocacy corps. And you folks that come to Annapolis on Fridays, that participate, have really stepped up to the plate and are joining us every other Friday for our special calls. And anyone on the call that wants to join those calls, please let us know and we will add you to our list. Each week we try to have a special guest. This week we will be going over our legislative priorities and some of the voter engagement work that we're doing. Very quickly, just let me tell you, our annual Andrus Award Luncheon, named for our founder, like Jim said, Ethel Percy Andrus, honors those who volunteer for AARP Maryland. Our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus, has been described as having the urge to serve. When selecting the Volunteer Advocate of the Year, AARP Maryland looks to someone like Ethel Percy Andrus, who had the urge to serve. That person that works for change. That person who is committed to making things better for everyone. And when that person volunteers, they don't think what they are doing is unusual or praiseworthy. It's just a part of the definition of who that volunteer is. The person we are honoring for the Gary Share Advocacy Award on a moment's notice has become a tireless advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves. Why are we honoring this person? Besides the obvious, because she deserves it. Honoring this advocate creates an example for the rest of us to follow. She emphasizes that community service is important and that through our choice as to whom honor makes it clear that community service means. Honoring this advocate provides an occasion to highlight the dedication to the issues that she works on. Honoring this advocate demonstrates that even one person can be an effective agent for change and encourages action while helping others. Our Andrus Award Recognition Luncheon provides the perfect vehicle for showcasing the hard work and dedication of our advocacy volunteer. Our Gary Share Advocacy Volunteer for 2020 embodies great character and selflessness. The work she does and the issues she has tackled is an inspiration and a motivation to all of us. Our Gary Show Advocacy Volunteer for 2020 is Martha Yallo. This is kind of unique because a few years ago we honored her husband, and as a team, they really embody the things that an advocacy volunteer should be, and they work on issues together. As a volunteer for AARP Maryland, she has advocated on behalf of AARP Maryland during the Maryland General Assembly, coming to our weekly meetings, speaking with elected officials, and testifying before committees. She has steadfastly worked to protect vulnerable populations who are fleeced by the third-party suppliers. She has been willing to transfer her skills from helping vulnerable Marylanders who don't understand third-party suppliers to advocating in Annapolis on their behalf. And if none of you have heard of third-party suppliers, we need to have a chat, and Martha is the person that can do that. AARP Maryland can count on her to develop relationships with legislators and help us move our entire legislative agenda forward. AARP is proud to have Martha Yallo as our advocate and for being AARP Maryland's Gary Share Advocate Volunteer for 2020. Congratulations, Martha. You are truly appreciated.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I'm very humbled and honored to receive an award, and I recognize, getting to know the AARP staff, how hard they all work. And they are so smart, the way they recognize and support volunteers. So you always feel supported and recognized. AARP leverages the impact of its volunteers so well. I had a 24/7 job. When I retired, I thought, what do I do with myself? I want to honor my 2-minute limit, but I want to highlight 3 organizations and 2 people. Tammy is certainly one of them. She is a fabulous mentor. But the first organization is the Ignatian Volunteer Corps, because they give you an opportunity to get hands-on personal experience of helping real people. 1 or 2 days a week is your commitment. They place me at GEDCO Cares, a smart, targeted, effective community service organization that deserves all the support it can get. They provide help, among many other services, with utility bills. And I noticed that a lot of them, people who needed help to keep their electricity on, were seniors. In fact, when we counted up, 3/4 are AARP age. They're over 50. 4 in 10 are over 65. I brought this to Tammy's attention, and she jumped on it and ran with it. I met an investigative reporter extraordinaire whose name is Laurel Peltier, and she is on this call. She also should have her name on this award. But I introduced Tammy to Laurel. They got together. We got down to Annapolis. We almost passed legislation this past year, our 2nd year working on it in Annapolis. We've got great partnership with legislators. Tammy has helped us know who to talk to. And please look at your utility bill. They are really hard to read. There might be something lurking in there that is making you spend a lot more money for the same electricity. I'm going to put my email address at the GEDCO Cares email address in the chat. Contact me and I will help you learn how to read your utility bill and make sure you're not getting overcharged. And I'm afraid I'm running over my time. So thank you. And I opened it up and it is gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Done.
Now to you, Nancy.
I have to unmute myself. There, I had to unmute myself. So what can I say about Jim Campbell? He's somebody who is passionate, insightful, always eager to jump in. Just this year, Jim has hosted 2 census press conferences, 2 census teletown halls. He's been our lead liaison to the census and their communications team, and instrumental in our outreach efforts throughout the state. He's penned letters to the editor and op-eds about utilities, Social Security, and of course the census, as well as other important issues. He doesn't have to be asked. He notices an issue, he thinks about it, he comes up with the letter, hands it to me and says, do you think we could send this in? And of course we do, and he always gets published because he cares so much about issues and about AARP and our volunteers. He's always available to speak to reporters and with his insight and share his expertise. He will always roll up his sleeves. He even makes pitch calls to reporters and editors for his own press conferences. And they take his calls, so it's a win-win for all of us. And the pandemic has not slowed Jim down a bit. In fact, we're working him harder than ever, I think. He quickly picked up the challenges of virtual technology. He hosts our weekly Zoom calls and his Rolodex. There's no one who Jim hasn't met or impressed over his long career. Through Jim's connections, we've been able to welcome guests like Steny Hoyer, Nancy Grasmick, and next month the author Wes Moore. Again, people take Jim's calls because they know that he is a man of warmth, integrity, intelligence, and everyone he meets becomes a friend. So Jim has understandably emerged as an integral part of our Maryland State Office team. He is my right hand when it comes to communications, outreach, and staying on top of issues. And so for that reason, it's my great pleasure to present this year's Communications Award to our very own State President, Jim Campbell. Thank you so much, Jim, for all you do.
Nancy, thank you very much. It's very nice. I really appreciate your comments, but you know, I don't feel I deserve it. I feel everybody contributes, and it's just so easy to do those kind of things because I believe in AARP's mission and about caring for people and trying to make life better for all of us. I'm part of an executive council, and all those members of the council work really hard, and I'm proud to be part of that group too. And I just wanted to mention some of them. There's David Conway. I think they're all on the phone too. David Conway, he's doing Walktober program in Howard County, encouraging people to get out and walk. Gigi Blake does caregiving in Prince George's County, works hard there. Dr. Suda Haley, our newest member, has worked on the census along with Marcy Gouge in Frederick County. They've both done great jobs and made us one of the leaders in promoting the census. Stu Davis, he's our all-purpose go-to guy. And AARP connection, he has a strong connection with AARP. And then there's one other person I want to mention. And I'm very proud to mention Mary Angela Baker. Mary, can you step forward? I'm just kidding about the step forward part. I am pleased to recognize the hard work and one of our members of Executive Council, who like all our members works hard above beyond the call of duty. Mary Angela has helped us make connections in a rural area of the state where we need stronger connection. She's worked with the area agency on aging in Salisbury area to help us better understand the issues being faced by nursing home residents during this pandemic. She helped facilitate the program we did last year where we gave emergency supply bags to senior citizens, needy senior citizens on the Eastern Shore. She worked on the complete count census committee in Salisbury, and she also is a connection to the chapters on the shore. It's an important area for us to reach out to. She's done a great job in reaching out, and I'm just so honored to be able to recognize her today. Can you come forward and I'll hand you the award? Just kidding again, sorry. But congratulations, and we're honored to have you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I think it's instead of step forward, it's can you please unmute? So I want to say thank you, Jim, for nominating me for this award, and it really is an honor to receive it. When I first joined AARP, the one phrase that struck out to me was isolation is fatal. And I am so proud to be a part of an organization that, especially during this COVID crisis, has really worked hard for all of its members and for all of our greater community as a whole, to help with that issue of isolation. And AARP is one of the few organizations that I know of that has become very innovative at reaching out to people, to providing information to help through this crisis, not only around isolation, but questions about what is the COVID, how does it happen, what can I do to prevent it, and really making an impact on all of us across not only Maryland, but the United States and the greater world. And so I just want to say thank you, and to have two quotes by Helen Keller that I think it's important to remember. The first is, walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. And the second, which I think really sums up to the AARP community of Maryland, is alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. So thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate this honor.
Thank you.
And I'm
Congratulations.
stepping away from the stage. I will unmute. I will put my mute back on.
Okay.
That
Joy?
was wonderful. Thank you so much, Mary Angela, for those quotes. So I'm here to speak with you all, but of course I'm toggling between many screens, so bear with me here. I would first like to put up who I am presenting next, and then we will move forward from there. So here we go. So I had the pleasure of first meeting Mr. Joel White at the Frederick Keys game in the fall of 2016 as a new member of the staff of AARP Maryland. He came to us ready to learn about AARP Maryland and how to be more involved as a vice president of the Baltimore Liberty chapter. Since then, Mr. White has remained a valued player of the team. When there was an untimely passing of the last president of Baltimore Liberty chapter in December 2019, Joel stepped up as a true leader would. He began attending volunteer team meetings, brainstorming with staff on how to get his members more involved, and drew upon AARP and the City of Baltimore's top priorities so that he could keep his members informed while bringing a fresh, innovative approach to his presidency. Under his leadership, the Baltimore Liberty chapter has applied and has received the Chapter Awareness Grant for AARP's Office of Volunteer Engagement to support community activities that do not require in-person gatherings. He has also gathered a group of chapter members to attend the delegation meetings in Annapolis during the 2020 legislative session. He has equipped his chapter members with the knowledge and ability to use Zoom for board meetings and chapter meetings. They have donated to families that were in need during the Baltimore explosion that happened in August. And he has championed one of his chapter members who recently received the AARP Chapter and Retired Educators Association Community Service and Award. In addition to that, Mr. White has remained dedicated as a state volunteer by attending weekly volunteer calls, participating in focus groups, attending virtual community meetings, and prior to that, prior to March of 2020, Mr. White also helped with outreach tabling, movies for grown-ups events, and livable community efforts. I am grateful to work with someone who is community-driven and action-oriented. We are honored to be able to present the 2020 AARP Maryland Chapter Leader Award to Mr. Joel White. Congratulations. And Joel, you're welcome.
All right, am I off of mute now?
Yes, sir.
All right. First of all, let me thank you for nominating a first-year chapter president for this honor. A chapter leader is only as strong as his weakest link. And my chapter is standing up for me, and we're moving up right along. I believe the good Lord has prepared us all for all our lives to serve during this moment. If we choose to accept the challenges, remember, a journey begins with but one step. Our steps should always be for the good of all mankind. After that, Joel Light, drop the mic.
Oh, no.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Now over to our next presentation.
Thank you, Joy, and congratulations, Joel, and to all the winners, Mary Angela, everybody. It's wonderful that we're all here together to recognize one another in the celebration that we have today. I have the privilege of presenting the next award, which is the Lifetime Achievement Award. And let me just say that this is only the third time in 10 years that we have offered this award. This is not one that comes out all the time. But this award was named for the former Attorney General of Maryland, J. Joseph Curran Jr. And Joe Curran, and one of the reasons I really wanted to name this for him is that after 50 years in public service, he had been the lieutenant governor, he had been for 20 years, he was the attorney general. Before that, he was a state senator, a delegate. He was in elected office for 50 years. And when he decided not to run again, the Washington Post did an editorial about him. And the headline of the editorial was Mr. Integrity. And that really stuck with me. 50 years in public service, and he is referred to as Mr. Integrity. Well, that brings me to our awardee today, Ted Meyerson. Ted Meyerson is one of AARP Maryland's most active volunteers as a member of the AARP Maryland Speakers Bureau, AARP Fraud Watch Network leader. He's our guru on all things related to advanced directives, a really important issue for us, and a member of the AARP Volunteer Technical Training Team. He is the expert on Zoom, by the way. Ted brings critical information to the community through his outreach efforts and has also been a member of our volunteer team for many years. He started out serving as a lead volunteer legislative advocate for Maryland and Maryland's AARP. And over time, he's branched out to take on so many different roles, demonstrating an unwavering desire to learn, to teach, and to engage with communities all over the state. Ted's accomplishments and roles extend well beyond AARP. Currently, Ted also serves as a member of the Leadership Advisory Council of the B'nai Israel congregation and a stand-in for the state senator Guy Gazone at public venues. And as a graduate of Carnegie Mellon University, Ted operated his own printing company and was an associate real estate broker. And then his past organizational affiliations included being the president of the Printing Industry Association, wouldn't you know. He was the treasurer of the B'nai Israel congregation in Rockville. He was on their board of governors. He was the president of United Seniors of Maryland that blossomed under his leadership, I might add. He was a former Howard County Community College adjunct professor. He's a retired United States Coast Guard auxiliary member and a past chair of the State Advisory Council on Quality Care at the End of Life. But the list doesn't end there. Ted focused much of his volunteer service to bettering the lives of older adults as a member of the vice chair of the Howard County Commission on Aging. And he is also chair of the Howard County Senior Property Tax Task Force and chair of the Howard County Commission on Aging Advocacy Committee, State Empowerment Zones for Senior Commission. He served on the State Committee on Oversight of Nursing Homes and Assisted Living Facilities, obviously a topic we're very much interested in now. Was a member of the State Continuing Care Advisory Committee and Howard County Affordable Housing, State Community Options Advisory, Long-Term Care Payment Advisory. It just goes on and on. He has been a volunteer's volunteer. The reason that AARP Maryland bestows this award is because of people like Ted who spend a lifetime in public service. He's been an incredible asset to the AARP Maryland team and has even taught us a thing or two along the way. He really, he's one of those people who never says no. I'm sure he regrets that sometimes, but we're always so grateful to have someone who identifies a need and then jumps right up to help. He's a one of a kind, and we look forward to many more adventures ahead with Ted by our side. And on a personal note, I'll say he is somebody who is always there to share and to connect people together. He's done a remarkable job for us. And I want to turn this over for one last moment because I think Jen Holtz has a few additional comments and a little surprise to add to that.
Yes, I do. So Ted and I work very closely together. He has become my right-hand man in so many ways. He is a downright good dude, and I am so happy to have him on my side and on my team. And he deserves this award more than anybody I know right now. So I thank Ted for everything that he's done to help AARP Maryland carry forward, especially during this very challenging time, and for being a friend. So thank you, Ted. I have something special for you today. It's a surprise from the Howard County Executive, Dr. Calvin Ball, a certificate of recognition to recognize your decades of service to your community, your region. This certificate is hereby presented this 8th day of October, 2020, to acknowledge Ted Meyerson for the J. Joseph Curran Jr. AARP Maryland Lifetime Achievement Award. As a devoted volunteer and leader with AARP, we send you heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to mark your many years of valued contributions in the field of aging. Howard County government celebrates your efforts to support older members of our community. Your expertise in protecting our seniors from fraud and scams is admirable. Your advocacy helps ensure all residents have protections and options to live independently in their homes. As a champion for active living, we wish you many more years of success and fulfillment in retirement. So congratulations, Ted. And I did have a great deal of assistance in getting this from Dr. Calvin Ball with David Conway helping me out. I have a copy here, but he has the original. So I wanted to let you know he will be dropping that off to you very shortly. Congrats, Ted.
Wow. All I can say is, oh, shucks. You know, I truly am thrilled to be honored this way. And I'm a little embarrassed by all the things that have been said. I have to admit, however, that it wasn't a surprise today because Hank told me about the award a couple of weeks ago. But I was surprised then. And it was with no false modesty that I told him I didn't believe I deserved an award, much less a Lifetime Achievement Award named after a man who served in the General Assembly, was Lieutenant Governor, and served as Maryland Attorney General. How could I measure up to that? But they gave it to me anyway. I didn't get this on my own. I got it because so many people encouraged, supported, and permitted me to do so many things. My wife, Phyllis, always supported me in whatever I was doing. And without her understanding, support, and good counsel, none of this would have happened. There are so many others, from the people at Coast Guard Station Annapolis, to folks in the Department of Aging, to synagogue clergy, to other groups and organizations and people. All the people I've associated with. You know what I found? I found if you step up, you get pulled up. There have been so many people in AARP who helped me, starting with Donna Delano a long time ago, who introduced me into advocating in Annapolis, to Bob Gallo, who as temporary state director let me play lead legislative advocate, to many other staff and volunteers, to Joy and Nancy, and especially to Hank Greenberg and Jen. They have helped me and given me license to do so many things. I am truly honored, bordering on overwhelmed to receive this award, and I will display it proudly. There's one thing though, I wish you had changed the name. I wish you had called it Lifetime Achievement Award so far, because I hope to keep on going. Thank you very much.
Back to you, Jim.
Congratulations, Ted. Quite an honor. One thing I'm getting out of today that I actually sometimes have forgotten that, you know, what's going on in the world, for those of us that are news junkies, there's never any really good news in the news these days, but there's a lot of good going on out there, and we keep being reminded by programs like this that there's a lot of good. People still believe in the system, and people are still doing good work. So this is really, really inspiring. I also want to talk about good works. Hank's actually wearing a bow tie today. Never seen Hank wear a bow tie before, and it actually matches his suit. So congratulations, Hank. You're probably the most dapper guy out there in our program today. I thought one in this polarized society, I thought one thing we should recognize, and I thought is really important, is the whole idea of intergenerational activities. And this next award is called the President's Award because in this case, I could designate the category I was interested in. It recognized a hero who set up an intergenerational program between students and retired people. And I just thought it was a great example of how generations can work together, and we need to do more of that. Let me just read this. After 3 decades in academia as a history and political science professor at Notre Dame of Maryland University, Lenore Blum founded a nonprofit dedicated to helping low-income Latina girls overcome the socio-cultural, economic, and academic barriers they face in pursuing a college career. The program strives to improve high school performance through interaction with expert teachers, caring tutors, and with an emphasis on reading, comprehension, vocabulary, writing skills, and SAT preparation. I talked to one of the professors, a retired professor who is working in the program. He spends a lot of time tutoring girls, and he gets as much out of it as he thinks the girls do. It's very beneficial to him, and he says the other people involved. So I just think this is a wonderful example of how intergenerational programs can work and benefit all. And I'm really honored to present this award today to Leonore Blum for her work in setting up this group and continuing this group. It's just outstanding, and we appreciate you, all you've done. So Lenore, welcome. You want to come forward? Well, not exactly.
Good afternoon, Mr. Campbell, Joy, and Nancy, whom I know from a prior life at Notre Dame, and all the wonderful Maryland AARP members. First of all, I would like to thank you for choosing us as recipients of the AARP Andrus Award. And I say us because the award really goes to all the participants of Adelante Latina, the after-school college prep program for underprivileged Latinas who attend Baltimore City Public Schools that I created many years ago. And I'm not just referring to our wonderful, motivated students, but to all our dedicated teachers and generous volunteer tutors, 2/3 of whom, like me, are senior citizens. And thank you, Dr. John Sinnigan, for the nomination. Today's theme is resilience, so I would like to say a few words about the resilience of Adelante Latina students and their tutors. Until March of this year, we met at Notre Dame of Maryland University, an ideal setting for our college-bound students, with an idyllic campus, a welcoming environment, plus access to computers, projectors, and screens. At Notre Dame, we were not only able to run our classes, but we could provide the time for socialization for both our tutors and our students, as well as snacks and a full meal twice a week. In mid-March, the pandemic interfered with our utopia. We had to prove our resilience. We missed 1 week of classes, and then the following week, we were up and running, virtually, of course. To my great amazement, our volunteer tutors were the first to adjust to the virtual setting, even our octogenarian. I must grant that we had better access to the internet than our students did. Our senior citizens immediately understood the importance of showing their faces online, the benefits of a virtual smile, and the awareness of coming to virtual tutoring exactly on time. Who says that as we age, we become more set in our ways? Of course we can adapt to new circumstances. We senior citizens have both the discipline and the willpower to do so. Members of Maryland AARP, thank you again for awarding Adelante Latina this prize.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. We're honored to give you the award. Appreciate all the work you do.
Thank you.
Joy, me.
We'll now transition to a video for our next presentation.
Okay.
Back to you, Jim.
Oh, okay, wow. Well, thank you very much. Is Sean there? I'm
I
very
am.
excited to present this. Hi, how are you this morning?
Well, thank you.
Good. Sean was nominated by a friend of hers named Donna Powell, a very enthusiastic friend who was talking about all the wonderful things Dr. Ashworth has done in her community. I think one of the things that impresses me as somebody who likes to get involved is that she saw a problem and she got out there and tried to right a wrong. When she heard there were homeless people, hungry people in the airport garage, the garage at the airport at BWI, she organized a program to feed those people who were off in some corner in the garage and did a weekly thing of taking food to people so they wouldn't be hungry. She set up a group called Food for Thought, which ended up serving meals on a more regular basis around the community. And she's just a hard worker that sees a problem, took care of it. It was just, and Miss Powell in nominating her was just so enthusiastic about all the work she does. I think Hank's going to add to what I just said, but we're just so honored to give you this award today. Thank you. Hank?
Sorry. The COVID-19 pandemic has not stopped Dr. Ashworth's efforts. And since March 13th, the day the state of Maryland shut down due to COVID-19, she has traveled daily to the Maryland Food Bank and other stores to pick up food and distribute them to those who need. Volunteering with the Asbury Church Assistance Network food pantry, she feeds over 300 families daily, donates toiletries and socks and hand sanitizers, and presents snacks for the Pasadena and West County police stations and medical personnel at the Baltimore Washington Medical Center, and for seniors at Pinewood East Senior Center. And throughout all this, she somehow finds time to provide support to a local domestic violence shelter in Washington, D.C. In addition to the time that she devotes to serving communities, she's a mom, she's a grandmother, and works full-time at the Anne Arundel County Public School System. I can't say enough. That's just a snapshot of what this person does and why she has been nominated and selected to be the recipient of the 2020 AARP Maryland Andrus Award for Community Service. Congratulations. Thanks so much to you, Dr. Ashworth.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Campbell and Mr. Greenberg, Joy, and Nancy, who had an opportunity to chat with, and all of the AARP staff for this award. I especially want to thank my soror, Donna Alexander Powell, who submitted my name for this award. I was quite shocked and felt very honored. This work I do, I don't expect a thank you. Because this work I do, I believe I've been destined to do. It is why I exist. It is my ministry, and I've been blessed to do this. I am reminded of a quote that says, help the life of one person, and you can help the community. And so in this present space we're in, our communities are definitely in need of help. And so my goal and my passion is to contribute to those people who reside in the communities requiring just a little bit of hope and giving them a little bit of belief. So I want to thank AARP again, as well as my family and my sorors who have joined me today to accept this award. Thank you so much. I feel very honored.
Well, we're honored to recognize you. We want to thank you for your service and all the good work you do in the community, and actually all our volunteers for all the work they do in the community. We really, really appreciate it. And as I said earlier, it reminds us that there is a lot of good out there, a lot of good people doing good things, and we can't forget that. We can't forget that at all. So thank you so much.
Well, as we move to closing, Joy, are we ready?
To do some closing? Yes, we're ready.
We're ready. Okay. Well, I just want to really take this opportunity to begin by saying thank you to our Regional Vice President, John Kane, for taking time to be with us today. And I want to thank our leader, Jim Campbell, for being my close partner and a great leader as well. And I want to thank the team, the AARP Maryland team, which is Tracy and Tammy and Nancy and Jen and Adrian and Cassie. I think you probably know all these folks. These names are familiar to you because everybody is involved with volunteers. We all make it it's actually, I've heard it time and again, it's the best part of our job is to get to work with you. Let me also take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for choosing, as John Kane had said earlier, for choosing to give of yourselves to help others and for choosing to do so with us at AARP. And last but certainly not least, a reminder to vote and to make sure that your family and your friends and your neighbors do so as well. The deadline to register is October 13th. Early voting begins October 26th and goes through November 2nd. And then election day, of course, is November 3rd. There is, I just want to make a little warning as well. I heard recently about some folks in Anne Arundel and in Baltimore counties that were saying that people were going door to door to pick up ballots. That's illegal. There's no one from the Board of Election who's picking up any ballots. If that happens, A, don't give it to them, and make sure you tell your friends the same thing. And number two, call the police, as well as the Board of Elections. And with that, I want to say thank you to the team. Joy, you've done it again.
Yes.
You've managed to do a remarkable job of bringing us all together with the team, and I'm just so grateful for all of you at the team and to our executive council that's done an outstanding job. Well, everybody here, I want to just say a big thank you. Back to you, Joy, to our closing.
Well, that was wonderful, Hank. And I have to tell you, thank you all for participating today and being a part of this event. It's always interesting trying to figure out how to do some virtual activities and still make it feel warm and welcoming. We miss you all. We want to see you again soon, but we'll do it when it's safe. So in the meantime, we just thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a snack. I hope that you enjoyed the musical interlude in the beginning. And we will see you all soon. We have lots of events coming up. So if you want to participate, bring a friend along. We're right here for you. We miss you. You have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you soon. Have a good day, everybody.
And thank you, Tracy, for that beautiful box.
Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful boxes. Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Good job, team.